Welcome everyone to TacosandGeeks.com Superhero Gaming. Justin here, we're back with another episode, and welcome to episode 7. And we're back in the DC universe this time, as we're going to be taking a look at Batman Forever for the Sega Genesis and Batman Forever, the arcade game, with the clips that you're going to be seeing here in this video was actually the ported version of Batman Forever, the arcade game, which was ported to the PlayStation 1. So the mid 1990s saw a surge of Batman themed video games inspired by the Caped Crusader's cinematic resurgence. Two games that tied to Batman Forever stood out to me, which was, of course, Batman Forever, the Sega Genesis version, and Batman Forever, the arcade version. Despite sharing the same source material, these games provided players with a contrasting styles of gameplay, graphics, and overall execution, if we want to say the game actually executed well. This retrospect dives into the gameplay mechanics. We're going to talk about visual presentation and reception of both titles before comparing their games. So, just a fun story before I begin with the Sega Genesis version. If for those who remember, and I'm gonna try to put the video at the end. If you don't see it, that means that we probably would have got a copyright strike. But if you just YouTube it, type in Batman Forever, the Real Games Begin commercial. This commercial had me hooked and had me and my brother wanting this game badly. And I mean badly. We begged our mom for this game, and she finally got it for us. And it's a co-op game, so he was Batman, of course, because he has this thing called firstborn privilege, so he got to choose first. And then I, of course, was his Robin. And this game was brutal. Holy God! When I get into the gameplay mechanics of this, when I tell you it was not what we expected, that we had to use the one-hit cheat code in order to beat this game. That's how hard it was for us back in the days. Yeah, it was brutal, man. It's not what we expected, but you know what? Let's get into it. Let's talk about Batman Forever for the Sega Genesis. All right, let's talk about the gameplay for Batman Forever for Sega Genesis. And keep in mind, this was a young Justin and my brother, a young Jason, and we were playing this horrible attempt of a game to do combine elements of a traditional beat 'em up with Mortal Kombat style controls. This game was heavily influenced for some reason by Mortal Kombat. Players could choose to play as Batman or Robin, each equipped with arsenal of gadgets including batarangs, grappling hooks, smoke bombs, just to name a few. The combat was sluggish to say the least, and I'm just being nice. It was complete crap. And heavily reliant on button combinations that's more suited for a fighting game than a beat 'em up game, resulting in a clunky experience and a frustrating experience. So frustrating that you have to enter the cheat code to do a one hit defeat or one hit kill so you can actually enjoy the game. Pressing left, up, left, A, B. Yes, I still remember the code. Just like I still remember the Aladdin's code skip. A, B, B, A, B, B, A. It's just certain things it's ingrained in you, folks. In this game here, as you can just hear from the tone of my voice, just talking about you hear the frustration in my voice. Oh, I wanted this to be good back in the day. I had my hopes up because of that Real Game Begins commercial, and God, jeez. So the game includes platforming elements as well, which is even more insulting because you have to use the grappling hook to grapple the higher levels and navigate elevators, especially in the bank level. But just getting across to certain areas, I would say the worst level in this freaking game is the circus level because it requires so much platforming, and the platforming absolutely sucks. You have to jump up and use your D-pad, your up and right D-pad or up and left D-pad to glide, and you have to time it precisely. But since the game's controls are so trash, you're gonna fall or you're not going to get to where you need to get to. It was so bad. It was so unintuitive, and it led to so much frustration. Anyone who is an 80s baby, 90s kid growing up who played this game can tell you The levels were like mazes, requiring players to find key cards or to perform specific actions to progress, and it was just slowing the pacing down. Not to mention the horrible combat that we had to deal with. Graphically, once again, like I said, it was using this Mortal Kombat type of influence here, and it used digitized sprites of the real actors, similar to what Mortal Kombat did to emulate the look of the movie. While this was ambitious at the time, the visuals often made the game look grainy and lacked the fluid animation that you see in other Genesis games of that era. Backgrounds were dark, atmospheric, aiming to capture the gothic tone of Gotham City, but it just lacked detail and it felt very repetitive. Batman Forever for the Sega Genesis is a nightmare to play till this day. And don't even get me started on a Game Gear. I'm not even going to show you clips of that one. That's just like, oh my God. It's ugly, it's frustrating, and you only gonna if you are someone who is just want to punish yourself, go ahead and play it. I mean, you can go to GameFAQs or find a GamePro magazine. Yes, I said GamePro, showing my age. Find an old school GamePro magazine where they rip the game apart, and or you can find the combinations on how to do things. It was just very, very brutal to play. Frustrating game. Very frustrating. But let's go into the other Batman Forever game. Batman Forever, the arcade game. All right. Batman Forever, the arcade game. In stark contrast, Batman Forever, the arcade game, was a fast-paced, over-the-top beat 'em up developed by Probe Entertainment and Acclaim. Remember Acclaim? Man, wow, Acclaim. The game embraced chaotic action, allowing players to take on waves of enemies using a mix of hand-to-hand combat and outrageous gadgets. The exaggerated physics and flashy power-ups turned Gotham into an explosive playground. The controls were far more intuitive than the Genesis version, emphasizing simple control combos and quick reflexes rather than complex inputs. The game rewarded players with power-ups like temporary invincibility and screen clearing bombs, adding a layer of arcade style fun. Now, that being said, the controls, even for this beat 'em up, which it was fast paced, it was still clunky. It was still annoying. It was still frustrating to play. Anyone who, I'll put it this way: if you live in New York right now, if you're watching this video, if you're a New Yorker like I'm a New Yorker, and you want to see this game for yourself, if you don't have a PlayStation 1 at hand or a ways to play this, head over to the Barcade in Manhattan on 24th and 7th. They have the machine there. Go there and definitely check out Batman Forever, the arcade game. You're going to see what I am talking about when it comes to the clunky controls and the frustration. Me personally, I use Robin because I like to just spam this particular move that Robin does, and it's very effective. But I will have to say this: gameplay wise, aesthetic wise, graphic wise as well. This version is more vibrant, detailed graphics that showcase the power of the mid 90s arcade hardware. And I actually feel like this particular game captured the look and feel of Joel Schumacher's Batman Forever way more than Batman Forever for the Sega Genesis did. The sprites were large and colorful with some dynamic animations that made every punch and explosive feel impactful. This was basically the best way I could describe this gameplay and the way the aesthetics and feel is if it was a combination of Adam West's campy aesthetics with the aesthetics of Joel Schumacher's film. And Gotham's environment was detailed, neon lit rooftops that really captured the film very well. And the special effects like sprites, explosions really added that cinematic flair to it. Like I said, compared to the Sega Genesis version, this is just a little bit better and probably the version I will recommend out of the two. The arcade game was received way better, particularly because of its pure entertainment value. While some critics noted that its repetitive gameplay, most praised it for its eye-catching visuals and overall fun factor, not to mention more true to the film than the actual Sega Genesis version. So, if we're going to do a little bit of a comparison here, the Genesis version of Batman Forever suffered from an identity crisis, trying to merge platform and beat 'em ups mechanics, Mortal Kombat combat style fight controls, leading to a disjointed experience. In contrast, the arcade game focused solely on delivering non-stop action, resulting in a more cohesive, enjoyable gameplay with a lot of flaws. Graphically, the Genesis version attempted to push the boundaries of the Sega Genesis, which is digitalized sprites, resulting in an underwhelming compared to the polished and vibrant graphics of the arcade game. So, to wrap this up, folks, Batman Forever on a Sega Genesis is a nightmare. You don't need to play it. You don't need to watch Let's Play videos of it. Just avoid it if you want to avoid headaches. Otherwise, you need to turn it on and go to the menu screen and press left up, left A, B, and then hit one hit kill. And then you can have some type of enjoyment with it. Both games highlight the challenges of adapting a blockbuster movie into a video game at the time, where the Genesis version faltered due to its overambitious and very flawed mechanics. The arcade game did a little bit better and was embraced a little bit better by the gamers and the public as a whole. This is Justin from otakusandgeeks.com with episode 7 of Superhero Gaming. If we like what you do, if you like what we did here today, see, I can't even talk because I'm so frustrated with this freaking Genesis version. If you like what we do here, hopefully we earned your subscription. Please hit the subscribe button and the like button and the notification button to keep updated with everything here on the Otakus and Geeks channel on YouTube. And visit otakusandgeeks.com if you're watching it there. Much thank you to you all. Peace and love and happiness to you all, my friends. What did you think of Batman Forever? For my 80s babies out there and my 90s kids, did you play this game? What did you think of that commercial? Wasn't that commercial? I still want a full version of that commercial, like the song, "The Real Game Begins." I want a full song of that. Still to this day, I would love to see that. Thank you all. Later days.